What do Falcons do? Rise up. Welcome to Rise Up Reactions, the show where we talk all things Falcons, NFL, Georgia sports, and in general, the sports news of the day. I'm your host, Dr. Lee Denning, the Golden Hard Dog, and a lifelong sports fan. And guys, today coming back at you with NFL Week 2 predictions. Real quick, if you have not already done so, please hit that subscribe button and help me reach more people. Thank you to the 165 of you who have already done so. The goal is 500 by the end of the season. So with that, let's move on. All right, guys, jumping right in. Thursday night football. I am making this on Thursday morning. So we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Philadelphia Eagles. I think you can honestly say that both teams were disappointing in their debuts. Now, obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles won their game against the New England Patriots, but they were a toe tap from potentially being in danger of losing that game late to Mac Jones. Now, Mac Jones looked great. The New England defense overall looked great. They're going to be a fine team, and now with Aaron Rodgers down, I think we can honestly say that they may end up being the third or second team in that division, and their playoff outlook is a lot better even though they lost. We learned a lot about them in that loss. The Philadelphia Eagles, we also learned that without their offensive coordinator from last year, that they are not quite as high flying as they were before. Now, again, it's hard to say because Bill Belichick and the New England defense have a long-standing history of destroying your number one offensive option and making you go to your 2, 3, and 4, so you don't get to play to your strengths when you play a Bill Belichick defense. With that in mind, I do believe in Jalen Hurts. I think that he's going to bounce back, and I think that A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Rashad Penny, and remarkably, a almost absent from the game DeAndre Swift should be enough to win most weeks. Now, they're going up against the Minnesota Vikings, and it was a tale of two halves for the Vikings, just like it was a tale of two halves for their opponent, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kirk Cousins, when you throw over 275 yards in the first half, there is not a legitimate reason in the world that you should lose a game. But turnovers, and not capitalizing when it mattered cost the Minnesota Vikings, and they ended up going the opposite way of some of those 50-50 games that they did last year. Again, they were very fraudulent last year. I did have them winning that game against Tampa Bay because I just didn't think Baker was going to be it, but he did exactly what he does and turned into the underdog story to win a game he probably shouldn't have. Now, Minnesota, I don't think is a bad team, but I do think that the Philadelphia Eagles will win this game. So give me the Eagles on a short week. Next, I don't know if they just keep doing this because I'm a Falcons fan, but the next game to talk about is Sunday with the Green Bay Packers at the Atlanta Falcons. Now, America has picked the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to go ahead and spoiler alert this. I am not picking the Packers. I'm going to pick my Dirty Birds because why would I go against my 1-0 Dirty Birds? Now, the Falcons, we had some things that need to be tightened up. I will link my video right now going over my reaction to our win against Carolina and things that I think we need to do better, things I think we did well. So I won't talk much about that. Now, the Green Bay Packers, they are going on the road again after having destroyed the Chicago Bears in Chicago, but they are going to be coming to an electric Atlanta team. I think our defense is going to find ways to put pressure on Love this time. We didn't get much pressure against Carolina with a 4-man rush. I look for us to have more blitz packages, but I do think that if we can put pressure on Jordan Love, that they will do poorly. Christian Watson may be back. He will have his full complement of weapons, potentially missing only Aaron Jones, who had an electric game against the Bears. We're still waiting to hear. He's kind of day-to-day, but has been nursing that hamstring non-contact injury. It's never good when you see a player have a non-contact injury. That usually implies that it's going to be a multi-week recovery. It's something that just, has been lingering and finally snapped. Now, again, I'm sure he has not had anything positive from MRIs or anything, but it's just a matter of I don't really believe that he's going to be playing. If Aaron Jones is out of this game, I think the Falcons have a major advantage because our run game, I think we can certainly do a lot against the Green Bay Packers defense. They have some solid linebackers. They have an overall okay defense, but I think that they're going to go on the road and they're going to struggle. So give me my Atlanta Falcons as a 2-1 underdog. Then we go to the Las Vegas Raiders at the Buffalo Bills. Now, Buffalo had a prime chance to win against the New York Jets without Aaron Rodgers and just absolutely threw the game away. Josh Allen turned into a turnover machine like he was at the very end of last year. He has got to tighten up, and I believe he will. They've got Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis. They've got their running backs in James Cook and Damian Harris. I do believe that they will tighten the ship. Dalton Kincaid's there as well. I think he'll start getting mixed in more with the offense. But they're going to right that ship at some point. And I think it's going to be against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the Raiders didn't particularly look good, but you do have Josh Jacobs there. You do have Devontae Adams. But I still think they are a downgrade from last year with Jimmy Garoppolo as their quarterback. So give me the Bills in Buffalo to win this game. Then we go to the Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, this is probably the hardest game for me to pick just on paper this week. Baltimore played well. Lamar Jackson didn't particularly look great, but they did enough to win. Their defense is pretty good, but they keep getting hurt. Mark Andrews did not play. Zay Flowers had an amazing welcome to the NFL. I think he had 10 catches for 119 yards, 9 or 10 catches. He was absolutely phenomenal. Odell Beckham really didn't get involved. Lamar has to be better if they have any hope of winning. J.K. Dobbins is now out for the year, so you're looking at Justice Hill and Gus Edwards as your lead running backs behind him, which is not the most impressive thing in the world. So, with that in mind, the Bengals did not have a great game. They did not get the offense going. 82 yards total of offensive production for Joe Burrow, who just got a massive extension, $275 million 5-year deal. I don't know what to say. It's in Cincinnati. I believe that was a fluke on the Bengals' radar. I think the Bengals come back and show why they are such a favorite to win their division this year. And honestly, this is a game that I think you're going to have a lot of unowned Bengals because of the uncertainty surrounding Joe Burrow after week 1. That might be a game to smash in things like FanDuel or Daily Fantasy. But anyways, that's just kind of my thoughts. But Cincinnati Bengals at home. Then we go to the Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. Seattle, you are completely dependent on Geno Smith, and Geno Smith did not look good in week 1. The Detroit Lions did enough to win. I don't know that they were playing at full form, and you got to remember, they're still without Jameson Williams. Their star number 2, possibly pseudo number 1 wide receiver for the first 6 weeks, and they came out and smashed the Kansas City Chiefs in the mouth. Now, again, I think if Travis Kelce had played that game, that the Chiefs win it. I think if Chris Jones had played in the game, then it would have been a potential game swinger, but I'm not sure. I still think that it could have been the Lions, but it would have been much more favorable for the Chiefs. But either way, now you have both of those weapons coming back for the Chiefs, but the Lions are still a good football team. They had mistakes along the way, and I think they're going to tighten the ship, and they're going to be back ready to bite kneecaps off under Dan Campbell at home. Give me the Detroit Lions. Then we go to the Los Angeles Chargers at the Tennessee Titans. Now, Tennessee looks pretty hapless overall. I still think they're a bottom team. They played better than I thought they were going to against the Saints, but I don't know what to say about them. They're just not a very good football team. I think Malik Willis or Will Levis will end up starting somewhere around the midway point of this season because they're going to be so bad. Los Angeles Chargers, in a amazing shootout with the Miami Dolphins, found a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory by letting Tyreek Hill just run freaking wild on them. But either way, you still have possibly one of the top 5 electric offenses in the league going up against a pretty bad team overall. Give me the Los Angeles Chargers. Eckler, Allen, Quentin Johnston, Mike Williams, Justin Herbert. I just don't think the Tennessee Titans have an answer for even 2 or 3 of those guys. So give me the Chargers all day long. Then we go to the Chicago Bears at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, Tampa Bay put the game together against Minnesota in the second half and had Baker Mayfield show why he was a former first-round pick and show why at times he can be clutch. So, does he continue having that chemistry with Mike Evans? I sure to God hope not as a Falcons fan, but in this game, I think he is going to have some more chemistry with him. I think Chris Godwin's going to get involved, and I look for Rachaad White to probably find the end zone on a goal line stint somewhere in here. So I do think that they are going to do pretty well in this game at home. Chicago Bears, same story. You guys are just bad. I don't know what to say about you. You come out here, you make all these acquisitions, and then you do nothing with it. Justin Fields has to step up. He has not done so thus far. He has no excuse anymore. And until he can prove that he is the guy, I am not picking the Bears. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all day long in this one. Now, moving on to what should be one of the best games this week, the Kansas City Chiefs at Jacksonville Jaguars. This is a tough game for me to pick because I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are firing on all cylinders right now. Right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are a 77-23 favorite by ESPN Pick'ems to win this game. I don't know, man. This is a tough one for me to pick. You are going to have Travis Kelce in there, who I think will make these teams better overall, but they are going to Duval. And there's going to be something electric about going to Jacksonville. You're going to be in the summer heat. You may have a little bit of bad weather if some of these hurricanes that are building out in the Atlantic Ocean find a way to inch a little bit closer as we get closer to Sunday here. I don't know. I thought that the Chiefs would lose week 1, but it would be close. I want to pick the Chiefs here just because I think they're going to bounce back, and I think that you're going to have Patrick Mahomes be good. But Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne, and if you can get Tank Bigsby not to fumble, along with Trevor Lawrence, who is ascending in the league right now, I'm going to go with a little bit of a controversial pick. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars here. I think I could be persuaded very easily to go with the Chiefs, but I want to create a little bit of controversy here. I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then we have the Indianapolis Colts going to the Houston Texans. Indianapolis with Anthony Richardson probably looking like the best rookie quarterback to start the year. He had a pretty good showing overall against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their offensive line in Indianapolis is still garbage. And you're going to the Houston Texans, who, again, I think have a lot to be excited for in the future, but again, are probably going to be at least a bottom 10 team in the league. Because it is in Houston, and because the Indianapolis Colts, I still think, are an overall bad team, I am going to begrudgingly pick Houston. So Brett Coleman, be happy with that one. I'm sure you're picking Houston as well. But give me the Houston Texans here. I don't have a lot to say about this game. It's going to be two teams that are playing, that are probably playing for a top 10 pick this year. But give me the Houston Texans. Then we go to the San Francisco 49ers at the LA Rams. San Francisco, I thought they might be a little sluggish. I thought Brock Purdy might not be exactly what he was coming off of an injury. I could not have been more wrong if I had tried. They came out looking like the best team in the NFC. And the Rams coming out with a solid run game with guys that I didn't expect, with Kyron Williams, Cam Akers. And again, they're without Cooper Kupp, so you had guys like Tutu Atwell. And my favorite sleeper, Puka Nacua, ending up coming out and looking great. I have Puka Nacua in almost every single one of my underdog league season-long best balls. So he was playing very well for me this past week. And I think he's a guy that could end up being the next Cooper Kupp. But with that in mind, Stafford, still a pretty good quarterback. The Rams, not as dead as everybody thought. But the San Francisco 49ers, they're the 95-5 favorite here. I can't go against that. I'm going to go with the 49ers until they prove otherwise. Then you get the New York Giants at the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals still going to be rolling with Josh Dobbs, almost beating the Washington Commies. That was really more about the Commies being inept than the Cardinals being good. New York Giants getting absolutely smacked in the mouth by the Dallas Cowboys. New York Giants, I have more faith in Brian Daboll than I do in anything that the Arizona Cardinals have cooking for them right now. So because of that, because of Saquon Barkley, because I think that they are going to right the ship a little bit and get back on track, I think the Giants are going to beat the Cardinals. I don't really have any doubt about that. So give me the New York Giants all day long, though the Cardinals are probably going to play them a little tougher at home. Then you got the New York Jets going up against the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. It was a good story, and I think this is going to be a very low-scoring game because of how good the New York Jets defense is. It was a great story for their Hard Knocks, Cinderella, undrafted free agent rookie to get a walk-off punt return touchdown. I think the clock strikes 12 for the Jets this week. I think it would have been a much closer game, and I would have been more inclined to pick the Jets if Aaron Rodgers had not unfortunately torn that Achilles tendon. I feel horrible for the Jets. I feel horrible for Aaron Rodgers. I feel horrible for the NFL as a whole because we have lost what should have been a solid farewell tour to Aaron Rodgers, probably one of the last great quarterbacks of an old guard that is all aging out. Um, You've got the Dallas Cowboys. They're at home. They looked like a great football team last week. You got Dak playing relatively well. They have a solid run game in Tony Pollard. I'm going to pick the Dallas Cowboys all day long in this game just because it's in Dallas and because the New York Jets are now going to be that struggling offense with an amazing defense again. Zach Wilson, I really hope that you take a step forward. I hope you've learned something from Aaron Rodgers, and I hope that that wears off on you or rubs off on you in a good way. Aaron will still be there kind of as a sideline coach, though I don't know if he'll be there this week, as I'm sure he is prepping. If he's not already had surgery, he is getting ready to have surgery on that torn Achilles tendon. So again, I don't know what's in store for the Jets, but give me the Cowboys here. I'm not overly concerned about it. Then you've got the Washington Commies at the Denver Broncos to round out the end of the afternoon games. Washington Commies are going to have to go across the cross country to the Mile High Stadium. Denver missing opportunities, probably should have beat the the Las Vegas Raiders. I like the Broncos overall. I think Russell Wilson played pretty well overall. I don't think you can pin that on him. I think the Commies have a solid offense overall. They just cannot turn the ball over and cannot be as sloppy as they were against the Arizona Cardinals. This is going to be another highly contested game, but it's in Denver, and give me the Broncos here. Then we've got 3 more games to pick from. We have the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots. New England, again, I can't speak praises enough for Mac Jones, for that defense, for everything that they did right, but still just fell a little bit short against the Philadelphia Eagles. Can't speak highly enough about the New England Patriots, which sucks as a Falcons fan because I just don't want to. But the Miami Dolphins, looking like possibly the best offense in the league. I am hoping that Tua stays healthy because I completely and totally smashed that 4,000-yard underdog season-long prediction for him, and he is looking like he's going to do it in 10 games right now. So give me the Miami Dolphins, give me Tua, give me a healthy Tua and healthy Tyreek and healthy Jalen Waddle to come out and fire on all cylinders. I do think this is probably going to be a Jalen Waddle and probably going to have to lean on Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane a little bit more. But I do think the Miami Dolphins are going to find a way to give out 300 yards through the air, and are still going to find a way to win this game. Give me the Miami Dolphins. Then we have the New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers for one of the 2 Monday night games. New Orleans Saints looked sloppy at home. And then you had the Carolina Panthers, who had their rookie quarterback go to Atlanta, have 2 turnovers through the air, and then they had another turnover on the ground later on in what was an amazing challenge by Arthur Smith. The New Orleans Saints, though, I think they are significantly more talented than the Carolina Panthers, at least to start the season. I think their defense is going to give problems to Bryce Young the same way that Atlanta did. And I think that they're going to click a little bit better than the Carolina Panthers do. I think this could easily be a very close game, and it would not surprise me if it came down to the 4th quarter, but I do believe in Derek Carr, Chris Olave, and the weapons that they have in New Orleans more than I do anything that Carolina has shown thus far. If Carolina starts winning games and starts clicking, I will start picking them more frequently, but for now, give me the New Orleans Saints. And finally, you have the Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers for Monday Night Football. Cleveland, I don't know where that came from, but your defense is absolutely amazing. And Deshaun Watson looking like a little bit of a return to form. Again, begrudgingly, I say that because I'm not the biggest Deshaun Watson fan. I am not hiding that at all, and I have not been absent in my discussion on why I'm not a big fan of him. I just think, even if you call it allegations, I don't really care what you do. There's enough smoke where there's got to be some fire, and it's disgusting behavior from the guy. So I am not a fan of him. That said, I am a huge fan of Nick Chubb. I'm very glad that he had a pretty solid game overall. Cleveland Browns with the Dark Magic L's, whatever the heck their logo is going to be, are going to go into the Pittsburgh Steelers, who did not look good in Week 1 against the San Francisco 49ers. But I think they're going to right the ship a little bit this week. I think Kenny Pickett is going to keep this a close game. And I initially had the Browns picked here. And the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm thinking about it, I just really feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers at home, having lost week 1 and knowing that Mike Tomlin is not a guy that's going to be happy with a mediocre team, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to find a way to win this game. So give me the Pittsburgh Steelers. Najee Harris, George Pickens. I don't know if they have Deontay Johnson. He was hurt last week as well, so I'm not sure if he's coming back or not. But give me the Pittsburgh Steelers here, even though I think the Cleveland Browns are probably going to go in there and win. Give me the Steelers. And with that, that's all I got for you. That is all 16 teams. Hopefully these videos don't continue to be 20 minutes long. I don't mean for them to be 20 minutes long. I just like talking about these guys. Thank you for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing. I appreciate all of you who have subscribed so far. It means the world to me. And as always, rise up.